Okay, guys, I believe that Bitcoin is currently in a bubble, and the U.S. stock market as well. And again, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to crash down to $3,000 or $5,000. I have some realistic targets. The most important thing I'm showing you in this video is the date I expect this to happen, for this bubble to pop. I'm going to give you that exact date. Listen, if you want to access any of these charts, all the charts I'm showing in this video and previous videos, you can access these charts on my website, so obstacle.crypto.com. The link will be in the description, pinned as the first comment. I have altcoins, Bitcoins, precious metal stocks, and tutorials teaching you the method of charting I came up with, so you can create these charts for yourself if you like. So for $39 a month, you get access to altcoins, Bitcoins, precious metals. You get access to Discord and Twitter. My Twitter is now private. It's fast to keep you guys updated on Twitter, so if I see something, this is where I go to first. If you are subscribed, make sure you send me an email and I'll accept your Twitter request. And you get access to our Discord. We have like over 800 members. Everybody here shares charts, trade ideas. If you have any questions, everybody here can help you out. And we have different channels as well, alerts, and like I said, a lot of channels in here. So again, that's all included for $39 a month. All these charts play out live, and you get access them 24/7. You just click the link and you click the chart you want to load up, and again, it just loads up and it plays out live. So you can access these on mobile phones, tablets, desktops. And if you have any questions, just contact me through the contact page and I'll answer your questions. So again, let me just go through this. So this is Bitcoin. This is our peak at 20,000 in 2017. This is where we topped out on 41,000. I just want to point out the MACD on the daily. So take note right here. This is where we topped out in 2017. Notice how far down this came. If this came down all the way down to negative 1,469. Look at where we topped out and how much this has come down and how much further it has to come down. I mean, this is as far as this come down right now. I mean, this could come down so much more. I mean, just put this in perspective. This is where we topped out in 2017. See how far down this came. This is as far down as we come so far. So I'm saying there could be a lot more downside for Bitcoin. So I wanted to point that out, put it in perspective, just the MACD alone. So this was a video, guys. If you want to go back and look at my previous videos, it's up to you. All these videos I'm referencing, I'll have the link to all these in the description of this video. If you want to watch, this is January 28th. I'm going to put this video out about Bitcoin topped out. I'll put a link up to it now if you want to check it out. But like I said, it was likely we were topped out at 41,284. You can see we did get topped out right here at this fib channel line. In a previous video, I went into more detail why that was the case. This video was January 11th. I'll put a link up to this now if you want to check it out. I was giving you price targets to watch. This was the lowest point I saw us going to buy in, 31,300. You can see this is where we bottomed, pushed back up. Take note, this orange, this right here, this is our ring. This video here was showing, a target down here. This was a key support level. I mentioned that if we break this, we'll be coming down. This was a target I gave you down here. And if you'll notice, this is where we found support. We did come below it. I'll show you another chart that actually did nail this bottom right here. But again, just want to show how accurate these charts have been at nailing support and resistance. This right here was, let me zoom out a bit more. You can see this was resistance. Flip support, resistance, support. We pushed all the way up to this fib channel. And then we came down to this fib channel line here, support. Pushed up as resistance, support. Support on this ring, support again. Then we found support on this fib channel line. So we had support here, here, and I said if this broke, we were coming down, and that is exactly what happened. And you can see we bottomed at this point. So let me give you, I'm going to give you some price targets each one of these charts I cover before we get into when I'm expecting this bubble to pop. So look, if we push up, you can see, guys, I update these charts and then keep you posted on Twitter. Daily, if not hourly. But if we do push up, this looks like this is our resistance. This is the top right here of this trend line. If we push above that, a resistance level, this is where I would get the hell out, around 34,881. And again, the reason I say that, this right here was such strong support, right? Support, support. We broke this support, so this support will flip as resistance. So this is the point I would get out if we pushed up, 34,881. If we come down, according to this chart, look, we need to hold this support. This is around 31,365. If we break that, this ring will be support. We have support levels below, but look, we need to hold 31,365. This next chart, so I have this chart. It's pretty similar to the next chart I'm going to show you. I just want to show you that this chart did nail the bottom. You see, this was previously resistance. flipped as support. Notice we found perfect support right here. And we pushed up. Notice we tested this again. Perfect support twice. So look, a very important support level that needs to hold is right here at 28,900. If we break this support, let me give you resistance above. If we do come down and test this and it holds and we push back up, your resistance is going to be 32,757. That is your current resistance right now. So again, your support needs to hold is 28,900. If we drop below that, your next major support to watch is going to be 25,700, and you can clearly see resistance, 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 support, resistance, resistance, flipped as support. So this is your next strong support level to hold. I'm not saying we hit this point and go to the moon. I'm saying this is a potential point that you could come down and catch a bounce to push back up at resistance before further downside. And as I showed you in that first chart, I think we have a lot more downside. This chart here, this is just kind of showing you rings. So where I'm predicting the day that this bubble is going to pop, I'm actually using a fib circle. So it's important that I show you how accurate these fib circles are. Take note this red ring right here. Notice we found support, 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 support. We did push below it, but it ended up being support, support. Came back down to support again, flip resistance, support, 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 support. As soon as we broke it, it flipped as resistance and we came down. Take note right here at this next red ring. And we're also respecting the white fib circle. Notice that we found support here, pushed up as resistance, and notice we came up, found support, we pushed all the way up to this one, came back down as support, pushed up as resistance, support on the red ring, resistance to the white ring, support, resistance. So this is just showing you how accurate these fib circles are. Let me give you some support resistance levels on this chart real quick. Let's see here. So some current support resistance levels to watch. You can clearly see we're respecting this white ring, so 31,152. You can see we're respecting this fib channel line and this ring, so if we do drop, watch to get a bounce around 29,381. And again, this is where we bottom, so this is a very important key support level to hold, around 28,863. If we push up, again, your resistance is going to be here around 32,599. You push above that, this ring will be resistance at 33,324. So do pay attention to these support levels. I'll give you one more. You'll notice right here, this ring was a lot of support. So if we do drop below that, pay attention to 27,233. Write these down. So again, I was just showing you this chart. Let me show you the published version of this chart. I'm going to show you that these charts are not edited. These are published versions. So once I publish this chart, all I can do is play out the chart. I can't change anything. This is published on December 31st. Take note right here. You can see this ring, this red ring where we made contact right here. This was on, I'm covering the date here. This right here was December 30th, right here, we're making contact with this red ring. This is the published version. Let me zoom in a bit. So notice right here, this red ring. If I hit play, you can see we bounced right on this red ring. This is where we came below it. It became resistance, and if I zoom in, you see that red ring below ended up being support right here where this channel, where this green fib channel line is, where we bottomed. So, and again, you can also see even the white fib circles. Came up as resistance, came down to support, resistance, support on the red ring, pushed back up, had this inner ring turned off. Found support on this ring, pushed back up. So again, I'm just showing how accurate these fib circles are, not only for finding support and resistance, but they can also predict moves, and this is how I think I've nailed when this bubble for the US stock market and Bitcoin is going to pop. So I covered Bitcoin dominance in my previous videos. Now, at the time, we were finding support here. So look, if we break support, look, if Bitcoin dominance pushes up, that's bullish for the price of Bitcoin. Dominance comes down, that's bearish. We came down, we found support, we broke it, it flipped as resistance, and now you can see dominance is coming down. I think it's likely we're going to come down and test this as support around 62.21. Again, dominance down, price of Bitcoin down. This right here, this is just another chart showing where potentially nailed the top. I did that in this chart here, this fib channel line, around 41,282. And then you can see this chart right here also nailed the top. This was two charts showing the top. The CME futures chart also nailed the top. I like to point out this yellow arrow here. This ring, you can see we topped out at this ring on, well, this is our peak. We found resistance right here, and then we broke above it. If we come down, this is going to be a buy-in point for me. And I do have this, the very last chart I'm going to show you. and this also is actually a gap on the CME futures chart. This right here, this is the CME futures for Bitcoin. This also was another chart that showed the top. So guys, I have multiple charts. The more charts that show confluence for a potential point to top out, if you have 3 charts showing, hey, 41,000 to 42,000 at the top, more than likely that's going to be the top. And you can see we came down, we found support, we pushed up resistance to this yellow ring, then we came back down as support and we pushed up. So again, multiple charts, but the most important thing is these are gaps right here. This is a gap here around 26,000 to 23,000. You have a gap below, this is around 19,000. We have some gaps down here. This gap right here, this gap, I have a ring that shows, and again, I'll show you this chart, but I just want to point out this gap and this gap I have on another chart. So I do expect we're going to come down and fill these gaps, but what's amazing is that chart, this chart we're going to cover just a bit, but these actually, and actually, so let me show you this. So this gap right here, this lowest gap down here, this one here, is actually this ring right here. And this gap right here, which is I think this is potentially the lowest point Bitcoin's going to go. That is this ring here. So this is that lowest gap. That's around 33,500. So again, if it gets really bearish, and we'll cover this in a minute, this is the lowest point I see us going. This is the point that needs to hold. But again, I'll cover this in just a minute. But again, I'm just showing you we do have gaps below, and I have charts that match these gaps. So this right here, this was a video I put out on January 15th. This is where I said this is the pattern we were in. Look, I'll put a link up to this video now if you want to check it out. Said, look, this is the pattern we're in. This is probably our support, resistance. If we come down, this is my buy-in, this blue ring. Again, this was January 15th. This was the next video I put out on January 20th. I'll put a link up to this now if you want to check it out. That's where I was referencing. I was saying if we come down, this is my buy-in right here on this blue ring. We did push back up into this, and I mentioned that in a tweet in a previous video, so it's likely we'll push back up, probably bounce back up and forth in this and then come down, but I said my buy-in is this blue ring. This is the chart. You can see it played out exactly. I said it was more likely we're going to break to the downside. You can see we found support on this ring twice, right here, and again. So again, guys, I'm just showing you rings are great for actually predicting support and resistance. Resistance, flip support, 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 and support 2 more times before we pushed up. So again, I'm just showing you this played out. That's what else I was calling for. We hit it. I bought in, wrote it up. This is the chart. This is published version of the chart. It's called Peak of the Bull Run 2.0. Let me just show you this published chart. Again, these charts can't be edited because they're published. Let me zoom in just a bit. If you'll notice right here, this 5th channel line is where we topped out. This is that same blue ring. This blue ring right here. So if I hit play, and I'll zoom in so you can see. This is the pattern. Again, I published this on December 14th. We pushed up. This is our resistance where we topped out. This was our support. You see we bottomed on this ring. We hit this ring 1, 2, 3, 4 times and pushed up. So I'm just showing you the accuracy and how Fib circles can help predict support and resistance. So this gets into the US dollar index. You can clearly see with this chart, this was a falling wedge back on January 2nd. This is January 22nd. This is 2017, the 2nd of January 2017. This is the 22nd of January 2018. This is our COVID crash. So look, the dollar was in a falling wedge coming down. At the same time, you can see Bitcoin. While the dollar was coming down, Bitcoin was pushing up. As soon as the dollar pushed up, as soon as the dollar broke to the upside, Bitcoin came down. And currently you can see we're in a falling wedge right now. The dollar is coming down. You see we found resistance, we're pushing down. While the dollar is coming down, Bitcoin pushes up. Bitcoin is a hedge against the US dollar. So if this plays out just like this last one, you can see Bitcoin was pushing up. As soon as the dollar broke to the upside, Bitcoin came down. I'm expecting the same thing to play out. So if the dollar pushes up, Bitcoin's going to come down. Bitcoin is a hedge against the US dollar. So what day? When are we going to break to the upside from this falling wedge? Well, I think this chart nails it right here. This is under the stocks page on my website. This is the dollar index right here. I have two of these charts, but I want you to note that take note this fib circle right here, this orange fib circle. When we hit it, we pushed up. It became support, pushed it up, support. We broke it, no suspecting this yellow ring here. Resistance, resistance. We came down, we hit this orange ring. Support, 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 support. And then we broke it, and we came down to support on this ring. So what I'm expecting is we'll probably continue to bounce off of this ring. But at this point, this is when I expect the dollar to start mooning. Again, it's very obvious. Every time we hit an orange ring, the dollar pushes up. Hit the orange ring, dollar pushes up. So I'm expecting when we hit this ring, this is when we're going to break up from that falling wedge on this chart right here. That will be the point we will break up. And that date, let me give you that date here. So we will make contact with this ring on, well, right here is January 28th. So here's what I expect, guys. We're probably going to come down, find support. We're going to move sideways a bit. When we hit this ring, this is when the bubble's going to pop for the U.S. stock market and for Bitcoin. At this point, the dollar is going to push up. That is the point that we're going to break up from this falling wedge. The dollar is going to start going up, and Bitcoin is going to start coming down. And this also goes along with the U.S. stock market, with the Dow Jones. This was a video I put out on, this was January 6th. I was saying if we push up, we're going to top out at 31,135. So we're not going to get above this yellow trend line. I'll have, again, all the links for these videos will be in the description. But again, I said we top out here. If you'll note, this is this chart. And let me put a price label here so you can see this. 31,149. Every time we hit it, we get rejected. And in that video, I was saying I think the same thing is playing out. We were stuck in this pattern here. We came up, rejected, come down, get rejected. This is our COVID crash. And that's what I was saying would probably play out over here. And so far, that is how it's playing out. We pushed up, we got a little fake out, we came down, we got one more little fake out, and we are coming down. So I think this is playing out identical to our last, this right here before our COVID crash. This totally plays in to this chart right here. Remember, if stock markets start correcting or start tanking, everybody's going to jump out of the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow. They're going to jump out of stocks. They're going to jump into the U.S. dollar. It will be at this point, January 28th. That's when the dollar is going to start pushing up. Why would the dollar start pushing up? Because markets are crashing. People are jumping into the dollar. And that is when this falling wedge is going to play out, and the dollar is going to push up. So do pay attention to January 28th. I do believe that is the point. The Dow Jones is going to start coming down, and Bitcoin as well. I think that's when the bubble's going to pop. And again, this is a published version. I published this chart on December 31st. This is the Dow Jones, just to show you. So if I hit play, you can see we hit it and we got rejected. Let me zoom in on a bit. You can see we hit it and we got rejected. Again, these charts cannot be edited. So this brings me to the last chart, guys. So this is what I was talking about. So that lowest gap that's on the CME chart, and again, these charts are available on the website. This right here, CME futures chart. So again, these are the gaps. This is a pretty substantial gap right here. And then we got one below. These are smaller gaps, but these are gaps if you go back and look. And again, this is the lowest gap right here. This is the lowest point I see Bitcoin going if it gets really bad. But just a reference, this lowest gap here and then this gap right here are represented by these orange rings right here. And if you look, this orange ring, this is our peak in 2020. Notice we kept finding resistance at this orange. Hold on a sec. We kept finding resistance, 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 and then we came down. This is where we crashed from 6K to 3K. This is that same orange ring, guys. So if it got really bad, you know, this is down around 3,500. I don't see us going this low, but let me give you the different scenarios how this will play out. You can see this red ring. This red ring has been support and resistance since, well, it goes back even further actually. This is the 12th of May. This ring has been support, 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 flipped resistance, resistance, support, support. This is when we had our COVID crash, bottomed right here on this blue ring. Let me scroll this over. And you can see right here, this red ring has been resistance, 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 resistance. We came down. This yellow line is a 20-week. We tested it, support, support. Pushed back up as resistance. This red ring flipped as support. Support, this is where I bought in again, and we pushed up ever since. So what I'm expecting, the most bullish case, I do believe we are coming down. I do believe that bubble is going to pop, and that date again is January 28th. Let me put a little line here. So this is where I think the bubble is going to pop. Let me put this on the Dow as well. January 28th is right here. So look, this is where I expect it to start getting serious, to start coming down. So your first support level is going to be this blue ring to potentially catch a bounce. But notice this 20-week. I expect this 20-week to start pushing up. And I think it's going to be exactly where this red ring is. So the bullish case, we come down, we find support. This might be the lowest point you ever see Bitcoin again, so do not miss this point. This will be where the 20-week moving average will be. Again, I showed you how well price has been respecting this red ring going so far back, and it just happens that this 20-week is catching right up to this ring. So I do think this is the point that needs to hold for it to be bullish. Again, if we're in a bull run, we always come down to test the 20 weeks. So I think this is the point. I'm going in 100% when we hit this point to potentially push up, put in a new all-time high, and continue up for our bull run. If we do break this point, if we come down and we break below, this is the next point. I'm going in 100%. I expect to catch a bounce on each one of these rings. What I do is I buy at the ring or at the support level, set my stop loss 1% above, so if it crashes back down, I don't lose anything. So, one scenario is we come down, we test this. Maybe this is resistance. We push above to support. We continue up. That's fine with me. The bearish case, if the stock market, really tanks, things get really bad, I do think the dollar is going to start pushing up a lot. So if things did get really bad, one scenario that could play out is we come down, we find support here, we find resistance, we break this. Look, this is the lowest point I see Bitcoin ever going. So again, if it got really bad, this is the point I'm buying in. So again, if you want access to these targets, guys, again, visit my website. Again, it's optilartcrypto.com. The link will be in the description, pinned as the first comment. And again, for $39 a month, you get access to the Bitcoin, altcoins, precious metals charts. And guys, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm waiting to see. So pay attention to the 28th. And just to recap, to make this very clear, when we make contact with this ring, just like previously, we hit this ring, we pushed up. This is when I expect the dollar to start pushing up. That is going to break us up from this falling wedge. We've got squigglies all over here. But that is when I expect us to push up, Bitcoin to come down. I do not see the Dow Jones going any higher than it is. So again, we might do something like this. But I expect at this point, this is when it's going to start coming down, as well as Bitcoin. But your targets are here, guys. You want to access the charts, like I said, they're available on my website. That's it.